if you're selling online, making your products look good, that's like essential.
Yeah.
It's got to
look good.
It's got to look good, right? And that's where product mock-ups really come in handy.
Yeah.
These are those visuals of like what the final product will actually look like.
Exactly.
Think about it like seeing your design not just as a file on your computer, but like actually on a mug or a t-shirt, whatever you happen to be selling.
Right.
And the really cool thing is AI has actually made creating these professional mock-ups so much easier.
It really has.
And so fast.
Right.
So we're going to walk through how to do just that.
Awesome.
I guess just to kind of set the stage here, you could have the most amazing product idea in the world, right?
Absolutely.
But if the visuals aren't there to back it up, you're not going to grab anyone's attention.
It's true.
And mock-ups, they really help with that, don't they?
Yeah, they really give your potential customers a clear picture of what they're buying. And that's especially crucial, I think, for like print on demand.
Yeah.
Where they can't physically see or touch the item before they buy it.
Exactly.
It's like a virtual sample.
Yeah, totally. And AI has really changed the game, hasn't it? Like it's made it so much more...
Oh, it's a game changer.
Accessible for everyone.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the tools that are making this possible.
Okay.
I think a good place to start would be with Canva.
Yeah.
Most people are probably pretty familiar with Canva as that go-to design tool.
Yeah, for everything, right?
Just about everything.
Yeah.
That drag and drop interface, it's super user-friendly.
Very easy.
Yeah, but they've really kind of gone a step further and introduced AI-powered features that they're calling the Magic Suite.
I love that Magic Suite.
Yeah, have you used it?
I have, yeah. It's got some really cool stuff in there, like design magic and write magic. It can really help streamline your design process.
Right. Yeah, and to get access to all of that, it's about $120 a year for their premium subscription.
Right.
But it's really worth noting, I think, that Canva has really integrated AI into its platform.
Right.
In a pretty major way.
For sure.
Okay, so then you have Place It.
Yeah, Place It, it's a little bit different.
Okay.
It's not like fundamentally built on AI.
Okay.
But it becomes so incredibly effective when you combine it with AI image generators like DALL-E 3.
Uh-huh.
You can use AI to create your initial designs, and then Place It gives you this huge library of mock-ups to showcase those designs in like realistic settings.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's more about the presentation, I guess, than the actual design generation.
Exactly, yeah. It's like the finishing touch.
Yeah. Yeah, and Place It has some good options for people who maybe don't want to pay a lot up front.
Right.
Yeah. Like they have a free plan.
Yes.
So you can kind of get a feel for the platform.
Yeah, test it out.
Yeah, and then they have an unlimited subscription for like $7.50 a month. Yeah, it seems like a really budget-friendly way to get access to so many different mock-ups.
Yeah, it's a great option, especially if you're like a small business or you're just starting out.
Yeah, for sure. And then there's AdCreative.ai.
AdCreative.ai, yes. This one is really interesting because it's designed from the ground up with AI.
Okay.
Specifically for creating what they call AI photo shoots of your products. So it's all about making those mock-ups really visually appealing.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the whole point, right?
It is, yeah. It's about taking those product images to the next level.
Yeah. And they also have a free plan with some limitations.
Right.
But if you need more features, their starter plan is $19 a month.
Exactly.
So it seems like there's a whole spectrum of choices out there. From platforms like Canva that have kind of embraced AI to newer tools that are built entirely around it.
Yeah, you've got options for every budget and every level of experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so no matter which tool you choose, there are some like core principles to keep in mind, I think, to make sure that your mockups are actually working for you.
Yes, definitely.
So what are some of the things that we should really be focusing on?
Okay, so first off, I would say aim for a consistent visual style across all the mock-ups that you use in your online store.
Okay.
This is going to make your brand look so much more professional.
Yeah.
Think about it, like when you walk into a physical store, right, and everything is like beautifully displayed and organized.
Yeah.
It gives you a sense of trust and it makes you want to buy things.
Yeah.
It's the same idea online.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And I can definitely see how having like a mishmash of different styles could look really unprofessional.
It can look messy and, untrustworthy even.
Yeah, exactly. Like you don't know what you're going to get.
Exactly.
So what else should we be thinking about?
Okay, so another really important thing is quality.
Oh.
I mean, this might seem obvious, but make sure your mockups are high resolution and they clearly show off all the details of your product.
Yeah.
Blurry or like poorly lit images can actually turn people away.
Yeah. Like, why would you want to buy something that you can't even see properly?
Exactly. You want them to be able to see everything.
Yeah, it's like showcasing a beautiful painting.
Yes.
But it's behind like a dirty window.
Exactly. You want that clarity.
Yeah, totally.
And, yeah.
So we've talked about consistency. We've talked about quality. What else is there?
Okay, so always consider your target audience.
Okay.
What kind of visuals are going to appeal to them specifically?
Yeah.
You know, are they looking for lifestyle shots that show the product in use? Or do they prefer more clean and simple product displays?
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe they're drawn to something more artistic and stylized.
Yeah.
You really want to tailor your mock-ups to their preferences.
Yeah, because I guess at the end of the day, it's not really about what you think looks good.
Right.
It's about what's going to resonate with the people you're trying to reach.
Exactly. It's about understanding your customer.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a really good point. And something that's easy to forget sometimes.
It is.
Okay, so anything else?
So another thing is don't overlook the power of branding.
Okay.
Use your brand colors and fonts in your mock-ups whenever it's appropriate.
Yeah?
This helps to reinforce your brand identity and create a more cohesive experience for your customers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think branding is so important, you know?
Yeah.
Even in something as small as a mock-up,
Absolutely.
it can still contribute to that overall brand image.
It all adds up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, and then finally, if you're going for that really consistent look,
Right.
I think starting with a template is a really good idea.
Yes, most of these tools offer tons of templates that can give you that like consistent foundation for your product visuals.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Okay, so let's talk about how you would actually go about creating a mock-up.
Okay.
Using AI. Let's use Canva as an example since it's so widely used and it has those integrated AI features that we were talking about.
Sounds good.
So the first step is to choose a template.
Yeah.
So what kind of options are out there?
Okay, so Canva has a really great selection of mock-up templates, and they're all organized into these different categories,
Okay.
which is super helpful. So you've got technology, which includes things like phone cases and laptop covers. Then you have print with posters and flyers, packaging with bags and boxes, apparel with t-shirts, hats, all kinds of things.
Okay.
And then home and living, where you'll find mock-ups for mugs, cushions, things like that.
It seems like they've really got everything covered.
They do, yeah. They have a really extensive library.
Yeah. And what's really useful, I think, is that each template kind of presents the product in a different way, right?
Exactly, yeah. So, for example, a mug template might show the mug on a desk or in someone's hand, or even in like a gift setting.
Yeah.
So you have all these different angles and scenarios to really showcase your design.
Okay, cool. So you found your perfect template.
Okay.
What happens next?
All right, so step 2 is where you bring your design in. Once you've selected your template, you're going to upload your design file, and Canva will then automatically place your design onto the product within that template.
Okay.
So you can immediately see what it's going to look like in real life.
Yeah. I bet that's a really satisfying feeling to actually see
Yeah.
your digital creation take shape.
It's like bringing it to life.
Yeah, even if it is just a mock-up.
Exactly.
So then at this stage, Canva gives you some basic editing tools, right?
Yes, you can usually adjust the size and position of your design on the mock-up, and you might be able to crop it a little bit to get the perfect fit. And then once you're happy with it,
you save it.
You save it, exactly.
Okay, so pretty straightforward. So far, you've got your basic mock-up with your design on the product.
Yeah.
How do you go about adding those extra touches?
Okay, so step 3 is all about incorporating your branding.
Okay.
So within Canva, you'll usually find options to add elements like your logo or other graphics. You simply upload your logo image, and then you can resize it and position it wherever you think it looks best on the mock-up. You also have the ability to change fonts and colors.
Okay.
If you want to add any text, like maybe a product name or a short tagline.
Yeah, and I know we touched on this earlier, but for those Canva Pro subscribers, they get access to Magic Studio. Does that offer any additional help at this stage?
Yes, it does. Magic Studio has all these AI-powered tools that can do things like automatically remove backgrounds from your logo, or even suggest optimal placements for your design elements on the mock-up. So it's like this extra layer of refinement.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so then step 4 is all about making sure your image is the right size.
Yes, this is really important.
Yeah, why is image sizing so crucial?
Because every online marketplace has its own specific requirements for product images.
Okay. Okay.
For example, Etsy often requires product photos to be at least 2,000 pixels on the longest side and have a resolution of at least 72 dpi. They also might have different size guidelines for other images in your shop.
So you really need to make sure you're paying attention to all those rules.
Yes.
For each specific platform.
Every platform has its own little quirks.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not just about dimensions, right?
No, it's also about the file format.
Okay.
So, for example, Etsy prefers JPGs, PNGs as long as they're not transparent.
Okay.
And non-animated GIFs, but they don't support things like SVGs for product listings.
Okay.
So always double check those guidelines.
Yeah, very important. Okay, so you've picked your template, you've added your design and your branding.
Yeah.
You've made sure that the image meets all the size and format requirements.
Right.
What's the final step?
The final step is actually using that mock-up.
Okay.
When you list your product on your chosen online store.
Okay.
So whether it's Etsy or Shopify or whatever platform you're using, the mock-up becomes the primary visual that potential customers will see.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it gives them a clear representation of what they're buying.
And the source we were looking at also mentioned saving your mock-up as a template.
Yes.
Why is that a good practice?
It's a really smart move because it means that for your next product, or even for different variations of the same product, you can just use that template as a starting point.
Yeah.
It helps you maintain that consistent and branded look across your entire shop, which saves you so much time and effort in the long run.
Yeah, totally. So it seems like AI has really opened up a whole new world for creating
It really has.
these professional looking visuals.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just for people with advanced design skills anymore.
Exactly. It's so much more accessible now.
Yeah. And I think that's really empowering, especially for smaller businesses.
Absolutely.
Or people who are doing print on demand.
Yeah, you don't need a huge budget.
Yeah, you don't need to hire a professional designer.
Nope.
You can really do a lot of this yourself.
Exactly.
So this has been super helpful. It's really amazing to see how these tools can help people, you know, really showcase their products in the best possible light.
It's all about putting your best foot forward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for all of you listening out there, I want you to think about this. You know, now that creating these professional looking product visuals is so much easier and faster, how might that change the way you think about presenting your products online?
Yeah.
Or maybe even spark some new ideas for products that you could offer?
That's a great question.
It's pretty exciting to think about the possibilities.
It is, for sure.
And of course, you can always find more information and resources on this and related topics if you're interested in exploring further.
Absolutely.
All right, that's it for today. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for having me.
We'll catch you next time.